A race weekend analysis. In addition to those more significant modifications, Red Bull has also brought along the enlarged front and rear brake ducts to better handle the narrow and winding character of Hungarian. At every Grand Prix, the teams are required to provide the FIA with a list of all of the significant aerodynamic and bodywork components and assemblies that have not been tested at a prior event. The presentation of this vehicle offers a one-of-a-kind look into the several growth strategies that are being utilized throughout the season. Red Bull Racing, who are currently leading the 2023 FIA Formula 1 Constructors World Championship, brought a new sidepod inlet layout, a new engine cover, and a slightly revised floor design to the Hungarian, in addition to making some minor circuit-specific changes to the brake ducts. Red Bull Racing took the majority of the update spotlight at the Hungarian Grand Prix to achieve an even greater increase in the aspect ratio, which is defined as the ratio between the length and the average width of the surface. The new side pods have an intake that is both wider and shallower. The team claims that the modification enhances the pressure at the entry to the radiator duct, and as a result, the cooling efficiency ahead of one of the more challenging circuits for car cooling. The redesigned side pod has also resulted in modifications to the engine cover, such as the requirement of a side pod panel that is more expansive. This takes advantage of the higher inlet pressure to make the most of the gains in that sector. The benefits extend to the rear suspension, and as a result, the path that cooling air takes as it exits the vehicle has also been modified. The side pods have been reshaped, which has resulted in some slight floor edge adjustments. According to the team, these changes have resulted in some additional downforce. In addition to the significant update that was introduced 2 weeks ago at the Belgian Grand Prix, the champion's sister team AlphaTauri has also delivered several improvements to this race. These improvements build on the previous large update. The Ergofanza team brought a new floor, diffuser, engine cover, rear wing, and beam wing in their search for more downforce. Here in Hungary, the team has shifted its attention to the front of the AT04 to improve its performance. Changes to the outboard flap should lead to a more favorable interaction between the front wing and front wheel wake losses, which should improve flow to the rest of the car. A new front wing has been created for more efficient creation of downforce, and it features elevated center sections. Following the completion of the new floor's testing phase, AlphaTauri widened the middle section of the rear floor, which should increase the amount of downforce. To improve the local load, the rear wingtip has also undergone some minor modifications. Mercedes also brought a significant front wing improvement to Silverstone, and here in Hungary, the W14E receives a further front wing tweak. This time, the change is made to the end plate, and it is intended to increase flow to the rear of the car. Alterations have also been made to the front suspension of the vehicle by the Silver Arrows. These modifications include a reduction in camber to improve flow quality along the chassis side and onto the front of the floor, which has led to an increase in floor load. There are also modifications to the rear wing that are unique to the circuit. These modifications include a cutout on the wingtip that increases aerodynamic grip when the course calls for maximum downforce. Alpine also brought an updated version of their front wing to the Budapest race. To equalize the greater rear downforce level that is being used this weekend, a larger front wing flap is being employed in conjunction with the front wing main plane that was used in Silverstone for the very first time. A reprofiled flap and a full span gurney have been installed on the front wing of the Ferrari to better accommodate the requirements of the Hungarian. Another change that has been made at Ferrari is to the front wing. While Aston Martin has modified the engine cover of the AMR22 to include a larger exit area, which increases the volume of cooling flow discharged from the bodywork, Haas will debut a reworked floor body this weekend, which is aimed to improve flow underneath the VF23. There have been no significant developments at McLaren, Alfa Romeo, or Williams, all of which have released significant updates during the past few weeks. The Dutch driver was joined on the podium by Lando Norris of McLaren, who once again excelled to come home in P2, and Sergio Perez of McLaren, who put together a brilliant recovery performance from P9 on the grid. Both drivers competed for McLaren. After finishing in second place at Silverstone 2 weekends ago, Norris took back-to-back podium placements for the first time in his career when he finished in second place again at Donington Park. After being passed by Verstappen at the start line, Hamilton ended the race in fourth place despite having started the race in the pole position. The seven-time world champion was also passed by Norris and Oscar Piastri on the first lap, but he was able to make a strong comeback and regain his position. Piastri himself crossed the finish line in fifth place, while the remaining points-paying spots were filled out by George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Lance Stroll. Daniel Ricciardo finished the race for AlphaTauri in 13th place after being involved in a crash in the first corner of the race. This occurred on Ricciardo's return to the sport, lap 68. As the race nears its conclusion, Perez's advancements are starting to fizzle out as Norris continues to respond to his moves and keep him at bay. The lag time is stabilized somewhere around 5 seconds at this point. Additionally, Hamilton's gap to Perez had shrunk to 2.9 seconds at this point. On lap 66, Russell takes a wide line into the final corner, and with the help of DRS, he easily passes Sainz on the start-finish straight. He has moved up to position 7 and is now only 5.9 seconds behind Leclerc, who will finish this race with a penalty that will add 5 seconds to his overall time. On lap 65, Norris and Perez are battling out for second place behind Verstappen, even though traffic is getting in the way of their progress. Currently, Norris has a lead of 3.2 seconds over Perez, but Perez is making up ground quickly. On lap 59, Hamilton finally pulls ahead of Piastri as they enter the first turn of the race. He made a right turn and then went around the outside of the Australian driver. Because Hamilton is currently 11 seconds behind Perez, it appears that he will finish in 4th place this weekend, barring any last-minute surprises. It has been a rather dismal afternoon for Hamilton, who lost the lead of this race from the line. He is chasing down Piastri for P4 at this point in the race. Perez is likewise making rapid headway toward Norris at this point. On lap 54, Verstappen sets a new track record for the fastest lap of the race, bettering the pace set by Russell on the previous lap by more than a second. Spectacular competition. On lap 51, Verstappen pulls into the pit lane for the last time in the race. Another quick one, and he continues his position in P1 13 seconds ahead of Norris in P2, who has Perez gaining on him from behind. There are only 18 laps left for Max, and Red Bull are getting closer to winning their 12th race in a row, which would set a new record. Lap 48, Perez is putting together a superb recovery run here as he gets past Piastri for P4 on the road, which will most certainly turn into P3 when Hamilton pits again. Perez is currently in 3rd place. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and